I know some of us just got off of a fitness class. I took the shortest, coldest shower I've ever taken in my life. But I'm here. I'm clean. I'm wet hair. I look like I came from camp, like from the camp showers. So really, really on brand here. So excited to see so many of you. I know more coming in here. I know this is a fan favorite session because we have a fan favorite speaker here with us and camp counselor, someone who I just adore more than like almost anyone in this world. Kate Udalova is here. You all know who she is. She is the queen, as I like to call her, of microlearning. So we are here with real life royalty, everyone, microlearning royalty. She's the founder of 7 Taps, which many of you know and love. She also has been running the microlearning conference, which if you haven't attended that, it is so much fun and a great peek into the world of microlearning. So we're going to talk today all about microlearning. I know if you were in Dr. Luke Hobson's session on Tuesday, Monday, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Earlier this week, if you were in Dr. Luke Hobson's session, we talked about utilizing 7 Taps as a means to help create a portfolio and use it as some portfolio pieces. So I'm going to let Kate take it away. And at the end, if we have some time too, there'll be some opportunities to ask her some questions. So Kate, all right, all yours.
Thank you so much for this introduction, and I'm still admitting some people to join in the room. I'm so excited to see so many of you joining my session. And yeah, I'm really flattered to hear all the kind words you shared about myself and 7 Taps. Thank you so much. That's highly appreciated. And I hope you can all see my screen right now. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So I haven't prepared any slides for you today, and I'm hoping that's absolutely fine because I was thinking about the format of this session, and I thought it would make sense to run it as a fireside chat since we are at the camp today. So I will share a bit of myself about 7 Taps, about microlearning, and probably devote the huge part of this session for the Q&A part, because I think that's the most valuable experience for all the parties involved. I love to hear from microlearning enthusiasts, whether you are new to this concept or if you are already experienced in that, and I'm happy to kind of serve as a microlearning resource for you. So I'm currently sharing the 7 Taps webpage with my photo. Really proud to be presented here as well. Since I'm a first-time founder, female founder, and 7 Taps is for me so much more than just business. And I think that once you sign up for the platform, or if you're already there, you will definitely get that understanding. I'm coming from the marketing background, and I worked about 7 years for a learning and development consulting company. And in fact, it's always been kind of a challenge for me to work with those existing tools I had to deal with, because most of them were really clumsy and not very convenient to play around. And having that marketing background kind of always pushed me to thinking of how we can probably get something from the marketing world and put it into the learning and development space. Because in fact, in marketing, we appreciate, every second of our customers' attention. And I'd even say it's kind of a now or never situation, because we may lose them forever. And I think that probably getting that understanding when you are in the learning and development space is really beneficial. Because in fact, your learners are so very distracted nowadays. They are very busy with their job responsibilities that being very straightforward, laconic, and reaching them where they are is something that they will definitely appreciate, and this will also lead to better knowledge reinforcement, and finally, it will result in behavior change. At the end of the day, that's all what we are looking for within learning and development environment. So when it comes to probably I have some clues of what I should mention, but I'm also keeping an eye on the chat, so feel free to drop me a line there, asking questions, comments. I'm happy to tailor this presentation to your needs, and I'm kind of feeling on a mission to help you with everything I can today. Probably, since we are here talking about microlearning today, it makes sense to touch upon the definition. If you ask me to kind of to come up with some very short description, I'd say that microlearning illustrates the delivery of training in quick and very targeted nuggets. And moreover, every nugget aims at only one learning objective, one goal per nugget. That's all. If you're looking for a more kind of a science-based definition, I'd recommend taking a look at the book called Microlearning Short and Sweet by Carol Kopp and Robin DeFelice. One of the best books about microlearning, and there's a great definition there about microlearning that is an instructional design unit that is intentionally designed to elicit a specific outcome from the participant. And I love every word in this definition because it highlights that there is a specific outcome. The microlearning piece should be designed intentionally. You just cannot take something long and boring and cut it into pieces and call all those pieces like microlearning. It won't work that way. And there is always a participant in some context. That's very important when it comes to microlearning because there is always a person dealing with something. And just think of salesperson who are always on the go in their car driving and providing them with some micro but super duper interactive content that asks them to, scroll to reveal something or insert some words missing in the sentences or you name it, won't help much because those people definitely won't benefit of interactivity like that. And I don't really think that any learning development manager would think of this kind of a type of content fitting that context, that environment. It may be dangerous at the end of the day. So probably some micro podcasts will work out in this situation. So when it comes to microlearning, it's always the context and the learner who will actually refer to their content, sometimes to get the answer to the existing problem when it comes to performance on the job, or probably to ask for some instructions, what they should do, what they should not do. So you should always keep in mind, how does my content in fact fit the situation? Will it be helpful or will it act as a speed bump? So having said though, probably we'll go to the 7 tabs because 7 tabs was built with kind of a microlearning science in mind. And we have a great research that supports it. I will talk about it a bit later. And in fact, the tool is that fantastic that helps you create optimal microlearning experiences, even if you are completely new to the concept. Because we ensure you create content that is bite-sized, that is differentiated in terms of learner experience, and it literally helps you think of how you can probably be more straightforward, more laconic, more brief in terms of delivering some concepts, ideas to your learners. So here is the 7 tabs website, and if you are thinking of how to get started with it, that's very easy. Just hit the Get Started button and a few clicks online and you're all set. All right, so how 7 tabs can be in fact used? I'd say, first of all, that we have a really nice kind of a collection of various use cases from companies from various backgrounds and different sizes that utilize microlearning for various training needs. But first of all, I'd say that microlearning really comes close with training reinforcement scenarios. And that's one of the most kind of a common scenario I've seen so far. How can it work? Like, first of all, you should engage learners before some upcoming training sessions, set some expectations, probably to kind of keep everything on the same page. Again, coming from the marketing science, that's very important when you promote some training. There is a very common situation when a company has lots of stuff on their shelves, and unless you promote it, no one will come and dive into that. So microlearning can work as a warming up scenario for kind of making people more involved and engaged into what you're delivering them. And of course, training reinforcement involves following up, delivering some nudges that actually help people to put those knowledge into practice. Again, that's very important. And I assume you all know that we forget almost everything in 30 days if the information is not reinforced. So with 7 tabs, you can either send out some standalone micro assets, whether courses or just some instructions or small recaps, or you can automate the delivery of small micro assets and send them out according to your schedule. So just imagine you have kind of a webinar or a training module and you follow up regularly once a week or once in a month, and thus you kind of ensure that people retain that knowledge into their long-term memory. Another also very common scenario is to address some small training needs when you don't actually need to create kind of a full-fledged e-learning course or run a webinar, and you just need to deliver something quickly. Works really great when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion training or safety training. There's so many different scenarios you can choose from. Just highly recommend it to take a look and probably dive into what you will be interested more. Informal training, continuous training, performance support. So the use cases variety is really huge. And that's really funny that when we launched 7 tabs almost 3 years ago, I thought that it would be probably the tool for training frontline staff. And just, I'd say in a couple of months after our official launch, lots of people reached out to me, and I guess Sarah was one of them, telling me that the spectrum of using 7 tabs is so much wider because it can really help you out with lots of scenarios. And since we are here in the learning and development camp, and I know that some of you may be on the lookout for the job within the instructional design field for their first job, or probably looking for, taking that next very important step in your career, I'd say that we also have unexpectedly, in fact, really unexpectedly, lots of applications of 7 tabs within that kind of a job interview processes. I'm sharing the link in the chat so that you can always get back to it. I will just quickly scroll it down so that you can get kind of an understanding of how it may work. So 7 tabs can work as a CV, or you can present some of your skills there. You can create a portfolio asset. You can showcase that you are interested in, I won't say the new learning approaches, since microlearning is not something new. It's the first definition dates back, as far as I remember, to 1963. So not a very brand new thing, but anyway, you can present that you are familiar with the concept, you are able to play around with it. And the very, very important aspect I really forgot to mention. Sign up for 7Tabs if you haven't already. For all of you attending my session, I'm happy to provide 5 months of 7Tabs Pro for free. No strings attached. Just once you create an account in 7Tabs, I will show you how you enter the 7Tabs account. So in fact, that's my home screen. And in the right button, you'll see the help, the product chat. So feel free to drop us a line saying that you're coming from the Learning and Development Camp, and we will enable that license for you. Again, no strings attached. I understand that so many people may be looking for a job these days, and I'd really love to support everyone as much as I can, because again, as you can learn from this article, there are so many people who actually finally got their jobs and really impressed the kind of hiring managers and employers with providing some really quick assets they sometimes build even during their job interview. For example, Stacy created some micro assignment presenting her skills, or there was one really great kind of a resume by Danan. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing the name correctly. So she just kind of listed everything important about her, and this format is fresh, new, and it really helps you stand out among the competition. I guess that's the right answer. So here's how 7Tabs in fact looks on your desktop. This course is embedded via iframe, and there are plenty of options to share it. And you can always share 7Tabs with a very simple link that in fact requires people only one click to access it. No logins, no sign-ins, no apps, nothing. And again, that comes from my marketing background. I wanted to remove all the potential barriers for learners, because I understand that with every other click, in fact, the engagement may drop down. So with 7Tabs, you just make one click and you dive into the learning immediately. When it comes to using 7Tabs in the corporate environment, the most common feedback we get from learners is that they don't even get that it's kind of a learning experience. For them, it's like, you know, scrolling the Instagram feed or a TikTok. It's very social media style, very user-friendly. So you can, again, scroll down this article. Some great advice also included. As far as I remember, it was Kara North who shared some of her best practices, hoping it will be useful for you. So I'm keeping an eye on the chat, and I see a question. Can we only create a 7Tabs account using a company email? Can we use a personal email account such as mail? Well, in fact, we highly encourage you to use your business email, but as long as you are on the job search, then you should use your personal one. That's absolutely okay. Can you show us again where to go to request this? Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry for probably being too fast in speaking.
Kate, I'm going to add all the directions. I captured them. I'm going to add them to their backpack, so that way.
All right, perfect. That sounds perfect.
You're welcome to show them again now, but I'm going to, just for everyone knows, I'm going to add that in there right now.
All right. So since we are already in kind of a My 7Tabs account, you can see that we have some folders available and we have some courses. And I see that we are already running out of time. Not really, but it's pretty limited. So I want to share with you kind of a microlearning piece on how to create microlearning. I built it, I guess, a year ago, but it's still valid in terms of content. You'll get some very straightforward advices on, for example, how long a piece of microlearning should be, and kind of open up a secret. It's not limited exactly to, you know, 2 minutes or 5 minutes. In fact, the context matters first. If you are thinking of providing some information before the upcoming training to set the expectations, then probably you should not think of kind of a more than 7-10 minutes, because people are not that engaged already, and you just need to set up some expectations. If we talk about following up on something and you understand that people are already kind of in the subject and they understand the value, then you probably have some longer time available. If we're speaking about some on-job support, when just imagine your learner deals with an angry customer and kind of every second matters, it doesn't make sense to create something longer than a few clicks. So again, it all depends on the context. The very kind of first advice, probably not the first one since I've already have given one, but it's very important to come up with a very engaging and compelling title. And what does it mean? That a title should already include some ideas on what's in it for your learners. Since when it comes to microlearning, you won't actually want to include any information like, here are my learning objectives, here is what you need to learn by the end of the course. Like, you should carefully think of how to put it all together in a compelling title. I've shared an example here, and here is also a great tool attached where you can evaluate and craft better titles. Also, as we've already discussed, microlearning piece should consist some action steps. And probably the most common question I get from our users is that how long my microlearning piece should be. And, you know, I've seen some relatively long microlearning assets. I mean, 40 cards per mini course, but I was glued till the end to the screen just because the information was presented in such a creative way. So I couldn't actually, you know, make myself stop doing that. And at the same time, I've seen kind of a very small assets consisting of probably 5 cards, but after finishing clicking through them, you didn't get an understanding of what exactly you should do or should not do. And that's not microlearning, in fact. So think of incorporating some action steps that actually really help your learners understand better of what you are, what you want to get from them. I will share this microlearning asset with you, and in fact, I will show you how 7Tabs sharing capabilities works. So we have plenty of sharing options here. Again, the very easy way is to copy shareable link. I can insert it into our chat, and now everyone can get an access. Also, we have QR code, works really well when it comes to placing some information where a person might need it. For example, in a restaurant, or how to use some facility in the office, or I've seen some companies creating kind of a standard compliance related PDFs, and on the very first kind of a paper, it was 7Tabs QR code attached, so that a person can scan it and get kind of a recap of everything that will be explained, or you can place it in the very end so that to provide learners with kind of a takeaway. Right now, you can all take your mobile devices and scan this QR code with a smartphone and see how the experience for learners look. Also, we have some traditional options like sharing via email. You can insert that 7Tabs link within the email, just enter the emails of your learners, and you can always attach custom sharing message that your learner gets. And in fact, that's the very first point of contact with them. So you can tell what's in it for them, why they need to actually dive into that. Works really well. For a corporate environment, we have Slack option available, and Microsoft Teams integration is coming really soon. We have SMS functionality so that you can actually reach out to your people where they are. Kind of a, you know, everyone currently is on their mobile devices. kind of a tongue twister for me. I'm sorry. And we have some embedding options, like you can copy iframe code and insert it on any page that supports for HTML, whether it's a website or learning management system or your e-learning module. You can think of Rice or Edgeflow. So many options available. And when it comes to creating content within 7 tabs, you can always start from scratch. It's super easy to create content. I'm not exaggerating. It takes about 15 minutes per asset because everything is pre-designed for you. 7 tabs has inbuilt framework that, as I've already mentioned, helps you create optimal microlearning. You can choose between various cards. We've carefully selected them to help you differentiate the learning experience, but not to distract learners from the content itself. Probably one of the most kind of fun features to play around with will be a video part, because we have a really nice text to video component. You can simply type your script or paste it from anywhere, choose an avatar to read it out, and thus you will get kind of a ready-made video with a speaker that you can use in your microlearning assets. And also you can even create branching scenarios in 7 tabs. To do that, you simply highlight the words on the card. There is linking and branching scenario option. So you can choose where to link your card to. You can link to another card in this particular course, I mean in the 7 tabs course, to another course in your 7 tabs library, or to any web page, so that you can direct your learners somewhere externally. And of course, with this AI madness, we couldn't kind of stand apart from it. And in fact, we're the first one who implemented OpenAI within 7 tabs. So we have a really nice AI builder. For example, you can type a prompt, something that comes to my mind really quickly, and we will generate a microlearning draft for you. It works as a productivity booster. Of course, it does not replace your creativity and expertise, and you need always to validate the content, but it's a very good point to start your 7 tabs journey with. So in a couple of seconds, we got that course that is fully editable. You can delete any unnecessary cards. You can add any content on top of it, whether it's text-based card. You can enrich it with visuals. I don't know, happy birthday does not really fit here, but anyway, so you have kind of some content here. You have a quiz, you have a poll, you have an AI video card generated with some script. Again, it's fully editable and you can play around with it as you like. Now we can delete it. And probably the last thing that I'd really love to touch here in terms of content creation, we have a fantastic AI transformer. It's our kind of a secret technology that lets you transform your existing files into microlearning. For example, I have a customer complaint workbook, and I can transform it into 7 tabs course. So what we actually do, we try to analyze the content within that file. It can be PowerPoint presentation or PDF or YouTube video or audio file. And we kind of take the main ideas, the main concepts from that initial content and put it on the 7 tabs mini course. It's not like taking all the information. No, we try to analyze and evaluate what's the most important aspects, so that you can use the content, the 7 tabs course created, to reinforce that training. For example, you have some training session or a webinar recorded. You can transform it with 7 tabs and then send out a follow-up a few days after, or create even a learning path, a spaced learning campaign that is also available in 7 tabs, providing that continuous learning experience. Or when it comes to content curation, that really works really great, because you don't have to work really hard and invest a lot into, creating some various formats of your content. So we should wait a couple of more seconds here. Yeah. And here we are. This is 7 tabs created out of that workbook. So as you can see, some of the content presented in the form of cards, quiz. Again, you should always think of how to validate content so that it will be 100% tailored to your needs. Probably you think that some of the points are not that important. That's again up to you, and no one can decide better than you how it should work. For those who are interested in the science behind microlearning and behind 7 tabs, I'm also sharing a couple of really helpful links. I'm afraid I won't have time to dive really deep into that. Here you can read the research by Nidhi Sachdeva, who is just amazing professional, and she has a superpower to explain really complicated things in a very simple and easy to understand way. So here you'll learn about Rosenshine's principles of instruction and how 7 tabs aligns with that. You'll also see some of the comments from our customers and some of the examples of 7 tabs content created. And in fact, even with all those pre-designed cards within 7 tabs, you can end up with a really diverse experiences. You can create a branching scenario, you can create a quiz-based card. We've even seen some companies created kind of role-play scenarios where AI avatars talk to each other, and then in the end, you were asked to provide your opinion on how to react, because we also support open-ended questions so that you can get responses from your answers. And also, I just can't help sharing the YouTube where we host all of the Microlearning Conf session recordings. Microlearning Conf is kind of my second passion project, because I'm really passionate about microlearning. And when we launched 7 tabs, I saw a huge problem within the learning development space where everyone literally knew what microlearning is, but there were so many questions about how to implement it. So with Microlearning Conf, we bring together some of the greatest people from the learning development space, sales enablement, instructional design, who share their best practices and their experiences with microlearning. What they create, how they create, what's the learning science behind it. The sessions are really short, about 20 minutes. So highly recommended to take a look and find out the scenarios, the use cases that are most important to you. I see that Annabelle has attended a few microlearning conference events, and thank you so much for joining us. This September, we'll run the 10th episode, anniversary one, and I'm really hoping that you will also join us, because that's something very important to me, and probably you can feel that energy as well. I see that we have 10 minutes left. Please send me any questions you may have around what I've presented. Probably I've talked too fast, so sorry about that. Or in case no questions came up so far, you can always reach out to me via LinkedIn, Kate Udalova. Happy to be of assistance, or you can send me a message in the product chat in 7 tabs. I'm also there for the most part of the day. No bots there, only people, real people, trying to help you get the most out of 7 tabs and microlearning. I see that somebody has already received 3 licenses, so my colleagues are helping me out, sending them kudos for their immediate assistance. Yes, our support works really fast. It takes about minutes to respond. Question: I work with some older people who like to print out and read trainings. Can you print out 7 tabs decks? Thank you for this question. In fact, 7Tabs courses are web pages, so there is no way to print them out, and probably just to make screenshots, but it will actually break the experience. We at 7Tabs believe that microlearning actually refers to you spending really kind of minutes on content. Then you can share that content very fast. In a few clicks online, you've already watched this process. And when it comes to your learners, they dive into content with no barriers. And it's, again, very fast and frictionless experience for them. So I'm afraid for people who are really set up in their ways and prefer some printed out materials, it won't work. And that's absolutely normal. Like, you know, there is no bullet point when it comes to training. People prefer some different formats. So probably that's my quick answer on it. Are there any other questions?
I have a quick question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I just want to bring back up a question that I think was asked a couple times in the chat, but got lost in some of the other. This is amazing, which I totally agree. I had heard of 7Taps several months ago, actually, but hadn't gotten a chance to try out the platform, and I'm really excited about this. So thank you so much for sharing this with us today. You may have touched on this and I missed it, so I apologize if that's the case. But is there a way to track like user engagement, their like data, you know, that sort of thing? How does that work on the platform?
Absolutely. I'm so sorry for I haven't touched upon this, but I will definitely do. For example, you can see that every 7Taps course contains that statistics button. And in fact, when you click on it, you can see on the highlights tab some general impressions of people interacted with the content. You can see some users' data, and it can be filtered in terms of the channel you used to share the course. If you used it with a simple link, we cannot track who exactly opened it. So we just tell you that anonymous users completed it. But let me check if I have any content that I shared with people directly. Not really sure. I'm sorry, not. But just imagine if I share this content with someone via email or SMS, I can see that person names here or their email, and I see who exactly opened, how much time they spent on it, and what was the quiz score. Also, we have the tab that provides you with the responses to the quizzes and polls you used for your 7Taps. You can keep it in 7Taps. You can download it. So there are a few options available.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
Kate, it looks like another
just asked back a ways, so you might not have saw it. I've had an account since probably, I don't know, over a year ago when I tried it out, trying to convince my company at the time to use it. So I'm just wondering if I'm able to, with that account, take advantage of your generous offer, or if it has to be a new account.
Well, that's actually for the new users, but since you are attending the session live, I'm happy to provide you with that. No worries at all. Send us the message in the chat, and we will be happy to enable that license for you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I haven't used it much. They didn't want to use it, so all I did was play around with it a bit. But I'd like to have my test things still
Absolutely
in there.
understandable.
So if I can just send them the message still through my account, that would be great. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and that
absolutely.
was very generous of you to offer that.
And moreover, since that time, I think that 7Taps has changed dramatically, and I'm really proud to say that the product is 100% customer driven. Like, all the feedback we take from our customers is already in the product or is on the way to be implemented. And I don't know any other software that actually responds to the customer feedback that fast as we do here at 7Taps. I'm really proud to say that. So feel free to share any feedback you have, any comments, any ideas on what we should implement next. that's what our job actually looks like. We listen to our customers and create a product that in fact empowers you. That's
Yeah,
all.
and that's, oh, sorry, go ahead. I thought you were finished.
No, that's all.
No, and I was just going to mention to the rest of the people on here that in the time that I like looked at it, like two different, maybe, I don't know, couple, 2-3 months apart, you had already added other features that I think were part on the paid part originally, and then they were on the free part, you know, and other features as well, right? So yeah, the speed of which you know, upgrade everything just seemed just off the charts. So besides just the amazingness of the ease of use and everything in the first place, it seems like the speed of which you upgrade things and add features and everything is just amazing. So I'm excited to play around with it more, and hopefully when I get a new job here soon, I hope I can convince them to use it.
Wish you the best of luck. We are all cheering for you.
Thank you.
I think Abby had her hand up next.
Thank you. Kate, thank you for sharing this with us. Such an innovative, cool product, definitely needed in this space. I wanted to piggyback on the question before and ask about how the ways that you can evaluate through microlearning. I need to dive more into the book and understand it a little bit more, but can you really evaluate like skill acquisition, behavior change, and ROI from like a microlearning perspective?
Great question, actually, and I'm afraid there's no immediate answer to that because we have only 2 minutes left, and I can be easily carried away while talking about it. If you don't mind it, I will share with you, or probably with everyone, a very great book about microlearning, and in fact, they have various scenarios listed and how you can evaluate the performance and the effectiveness. Because sometimes when it comes to microlearning, first and foremost, microlearning should be evaluated within a bigger strategy, because microlearning does not work as a standalone process. It always should be larger learning experiences to help people reinforce that knowledge. And simply evaluating the impact of microlearning assets doesn't make any sense, because again, it's a part of a bigger picture. Sometimes when you, for example, have kind of a microlearning library and you have some assets available for people to get back when they need that information, you can even track the effectiveness by evaluating how many times people get back, like whether it's really popular within your kind of audience. So again, it may work as an evaluation process. Or sometimes when it comes to some immediate application, when it comes to on-the-job support, for example, you see that the number of some problems and I don't know, some troubles within the facility usage has dropped down, and you understand that you will actually put the QR code with a microlearning asset of how to use that facility, and you can correlate the kind of a result with what you provided your learners with. So the question is really great, but it really probably requires a standalone session, because again, it all boils down to the context and the strategy you implement your microlearning within.
Kate, we still have 15 minutes, so we got time. we still got 15 minutes, so.
If you don't mind, probably while listening to other question, I will quickly try to find that book I referred to, because I
can drop it in there. Oh, I think she froze. Oh, Kate froze. Well, I'll drop that book in there. I'll drop the book and all the materials in there as well. Y'all can hear me, right? Okay, I see heads nodding. Okay, perfect. I'll drop the book that Kate was talking about in there. And so that way you all will have it next week when I put the recordings up. So, and that's for all the sessions as well. So any of the books, I've been taking notes of all the books. You'll get all the transcripts. You will get the, I have an AI recording. Oh, I think she's coming back, maybe. Oh, we lost her. I think actually, she'll probably be back in a second, but Abby, where are you? I think the other thing too, actually I wanted to add, I can kind of add on to that question too, having like worked with micro learning and worked with 7TAPS in my last organization, was it also depends on what the behavior change is, right? So I think that's also, oh, there's Kate, there you are, you're back.
Yeah, with the link in the chat.
Oh, amazing, amazing. You froze on us for a little bit, but now you're back. Okay, perfect. I'm going to move on to Dana's question. So Dana, what was your question for Kate?
So just really quickly, do you know, like, do you have any K through 12 school users right now? And is there any like reason why it wouldn't work in that setting?
Thank you for this question. In fact, we do not promote 7TAPS as a platform for K-12 or and other educational institutions, but we have clients from this space, and we have a few customer stories listed. I just cannot really focus on multiple stuff doing at the same time. I will drop some links in the chat. And in fact, when it comes to the educational environment, there is a very kind of a, very well, a long process of procurement and lots of kind of a challenges associated with buying and use stuff. And when it comes to 7TAPS, probably sharing a secret, there are some educators that actually pay for 7TAPS license just using their personal credit card. We provide discounts for educators and nonprofits. Just because they understand the value, they see how learners respond. Some of the educators actually end up with getting that buy-in within the organization, and we are happy to assist you if we can, providing some demos and filling out the forms. We know the process very well, but the very short answer is yes, 7TAPS can be used in that environment. And we do not kind of promote it because we understand all the challenges associated.
Yeah, there's a lot of red tape and a lot of hoops to jump through for sure. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
Oh, we had another question that came in the chat from Christy, which said, for pricing, are there discounts by learner group size? Example, 0 to 100, 100 to 500, and so on. If you could talk more about the pricing structure.
Well, first of all, we do not charge per learners, and that's our one of 7TAPS advantages as well. We only charge per editors, people who create content. And for us, it doesn't really matter how many learners you have, whether you have 10 of them or 10,000 or 10 millions. Just share as many 7TAPS with as many people as you'd like. And by the way, I listed 2 links for using 7TAPS within the corporate or within the educational institutions environment. So when it comes to pricing strategy, we have 2 paid plans. First of all, it's a Pro plan. It costs $99 per month. Again, we provide discounts for educational institutions and nonprofits. And the enterprise plan, but you should contact the salesperson to discuss on that. The good news, our salespeople are super friendly, even more friendly than I am, like very energetic, and you'll enjoy not only talking to them, but getting a product tour, understanding how features works and how customers like you utilize the platform. They have all sorts of data.
We had a question from Samantha in the chat asking if you have a plan for freelancers.
Well, in fact, you can ask for that discount. I see no problem with that. And I should mention that 7TAPS has a forever free plan. Of course, it's limited to some extent in terms of authoring capabilities, but it's really full-fledged, and lots of customers that don't really need to create lots of content in 7TAPS utilize this feature. And in fact, even if you kind of stop paying for your paid license, you will be automatically downgraded to the free one, but your content will always remain intake in your 7TAPS account. With the free version, the main kind of a limitation is that you can only share one microlearning asset at a time. So if you want to share something else, you should go and disable that sharing for that previous one and enable sharing on the next kind of a mini course. But to get started with 7 tabs or just to understand the value and how it works, you don't even have to pay a penny for a paid plan. The free version is fully functional.
Amazing. Both Amy and Rebecca asked around using it with the company's LMS. You can talk a little bit more about that.
Well, first of all, I should say that since the experience for within most learning management systems is not a microlearning friendly, like it really requires the learner to signing in, to click through something to get that asset, then kind of a importing and embedding 7 tabs into your learning management system will to some extent break the brilliance of the product and its main advantage. So we always advise to use 7 tabs as a standalone platform, simply because of that kind of a microlearning concept. But you can always embed 7 tabs with iframe. You simply copy that iframe code and insert it somewhere on your learning management system or the module you have in there, as I already mentioned, Rise or Eduflow. Or you can just share a simple link and provide it with your learners within learning management system as well.
And along that same question, Samantha just asked, if I created a learning for a client, how would they access it? Would they need to purchase the pro plan if she's a freelancer?
When it comes to creating some content for clients, the kind of a common scenario we try to stick in is that you utilize your 7 tabs account and you can share it with a client as a pilot project, get kind of the buy-in, and once they're ready to proceed with the 7 tabs experience, they kind of purchase their own account, because every company wants to keep all the data exactly in their account to kind of keep the content within their account. And we can just in a few minutes transfer the content from your account to theirs. That also works.
And they can share it via like hyperlink, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Amazing. What else? We still have about 6 more minutes. I'm going through the chat. I don't think we've missed anything. What questions do you all? Oh, I see something coming through. Oh, thank you, Samantha. And Kate, I put in the chat, I don't know if you saw it, but all the links that you're talking about too, you can just email those to me and I'll put them in with the recordings for everyone too. So that way we can link out to everything.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Jody asked, can the cards be translated into other languages?
Great question, because currently we are working on the automated translation. So far within 7 tabs, you cannot kind of make a course in another language in a click, but it's coming really soon. And when it comes to, for example, sharing 7 tabs with your kind of international audience, that's very easy, for example, to utilize, I don't know, DeepL. For example, I use this translator, just translate the text and put it back to the 7 tabs cards, because for your learner, there are no kind of buttons to click, and they always will get the language you provide them with, because 7 tabs was built in a way to serve the needs of the international audiences.
Joanna, yeah.
If you have a team account, so if your accounts are through your employer, is there a way to share all the course files amongst the team so everyone has access to them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Teams feature actually works this way. You can collaborate on the same canvas, and everyone kind of sees what happens within the account and can share the content.
Right. Okay. So there's not any risk management issues from that standpoint if somebody leaves or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Perfect.
And in terms of using 7 tabs within corporate environment, we are working with companies like Cisco, pharmaceuticals, some really huge enterprises, and we are ready almost for every scenario, from the very complicated procurement process to serving all the potential needs that may come up. So yeah, happy to answer any questions if they come up while we will be playing around with 7 Taps, because I understand that it doesn't make any sense for me to talk a lot about how simple and easy the platform is and how functional it is, despite its kind of a visible simplicity. It's really powerful. So I highly encourage everyone just to put their hands and create something, probably not for corporate usage. It can be something for your family members, or I don't know, something you would like to share on LinkedIn with the information you probably acquired through the previous days of Learning and Development Camp, and see how it works in action.
Amazing. What else y'all got? Other questions? Kate is
Just some
amazing.
kind words. Thank you so very much.
It's
That's
amazing.
really invaluable to get feedback like that. In
Yeah.
fact, that's exactly what keeps me rolling, because startup journey is not a bed full of roses, definitely. And you know, keeping in touch with customers, users, and people who are interested in microlearning and appreciate all the activity we are doing in this space. Really, it means the world to me. I'm hoping that this session was really helpful to you. And again, I'm happy to serve as a resource if you ever need any advice, any help, any second opinion on your microlearning asset. Just feel free to pin me.
Amazing. It's
Thank you
so
so much.
it's so awesome to see too how much. I mean, we met years ago now. I mean, it's been, I guess, 3 years almost,
Yeah.
and it's been so incredible to see how much the platform has changed and evolved. And I don't think there's any platform out there that has evolved in such an intentional way as yours has. So that's like, that to me is what I love so much. I mean, the platform, and I mean, from the moment I saw it, I was like, who are you? I'm obsessed with you. We need to be friends, because this is amazing. But beyond that, it's just being able, you know, I see a lot of software. I'm in a lot of places in terms of that. And, you know, I see a lot of people making a lot of changes to their systems for, I don't want to say the wrong reasons, but like, you know, maybe not as intentional, maybe just like, oh, that's where things are going, or let me do that. And I think with 7Taps, you all have really curated just a system that can really work. I mean, you see it in the use cases, right? How many different ways that we can use this. And it's really been incredible to watch, and to watch from the sidelines and be a part of. So thank you, Kate, so much for coming to summer camp and sharing this with us. And I'm going to share one thing. Kate messaged me back when I wanted her to come on, and she's like, I don't know what I would talk about. And I was like, well, you don't know what you would talk about, like, hello, like the thing. And you can already see how amazing and what that feedback is in the chat. So Kate, thank you so much. We have a couple great sessions coming up. Up next, we have our good friend, Dr. Heidi Kirby, is coming up at 12:30 Eastern, crafting a plan to level up your leadership. And then after that, Lauren V. Davis, who is a personal branding expert, will be talking about essential personal branding. Let me pull up that time on my calendar right here. That is happening at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And if you were in Nicole's session yesterday on personal branding, this will be a really great, we tried to talk around the mindset of it yesterday. We're going to look at practical applications in this session. So if you were there yesterday, amazing. And if not, you'll get a lot of it out of it as well. Yes, she's amazing. All right, Kate, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being a part of summer camp. I know I got a lot out of this. I love seeing all the updates to the system. I'm going to get in there and play around with it some more. We have a course inside of the L&D Career Club on how to create your portfolio using 7Taps, but now my head's spinning on some new things to add to that. So Kate, thank you so much. Everyone else, I'll see you in about 15 minutes with Dr. Heidi Kirby, and have an awesome day. Thanks, Kate.